everyone, it's your girl Layla. Welcome back to my channel.
The grass ain't greener on the other side, no. You did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say
goodbye. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this amazing rainy day that's happening right now. I literally hate filming on rainy days because the lighting always just looks so bad, because obviously I'm using artificial lighting, but then it's like kind of low-key like gloomy and dark outside, so I don't know, it's not my favorite. And the past few weeks, I want to say, that I've been filming have been on rainy days just like this. Also, I'm feeling a bit under the weather myself. I got sick because a coworker came to work sick, and I hate that. So if you get paid time off for being sick, girl, take it. Please, please, please take it. Don't get your coworkers sick, because then you're gonna turn bitter like me. I'm a little pissed off right now because I never get sick. And also, I hate filming when I'm sick because you can really tell in my voice. That's what's going on right now. If you guys are not already subscribed, by the way, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you guys, I'm so close to 8K. Thank you guys so much for being here. Okay, let's get right into the video. I'm going to be talking about things that people don't tell you before moving to downtown. So I've lived here in downtown for Calgary like 8 months now. I've been living here since September of last year. And there is a few things that I want to talk about that people don't really warn you about before moving here or anything like that. Number one, you're gonna hear sirens at all hours of the day. So if you have a job where you need like peace and quiet, if it's like, I don't know, if you're like on Teams meetings all day and you need it to be quiet, this is not the place for you, because it's always constantly loud with sirens, especially in the middle of the night. And it's everything. It's not just one thing. It's not just like paramedics. It's not or ambulances. It's not just fire trucks. It's not just police. It's like literally everything. All of the sirens in all of the cities seems to be concentrated right here into downtown. And you guys don't know how often I've actually had to stop myself from filming because of the sirens outside. You will definitely likely hear them throughout this video as well, because I do have the door open because my AC is broken. Okay, my AC is broken. It's really sad because it's really hot in here, but we'll talk about that. So yeah, that's the number one thing. You're gonna hear sirens. It is not a quiet place to live. If you live in downtown, you know it's like constant noise. And people keep saying like, oh, you'll get used to it. Oh, you'll get used to it. I don't really think so. I don't think I will get used to it. Number two, there is a really, really loud train that goes through the middle of downtown. And if you're not used to trains, girl, do not move here if you need it to be quiet when you're sleeping, because the trains run 24/7. They go all through the day. And I'm not talking about the passenger train, like the C trains. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the cargo trains. They are loud, okay? Even if they're not honking their horn, they're still really loud. And with that being said, there's times in the middle of the night they'll honk their horn really loud, because that means, I don't know, if there's an animal on the tracks, there's like a coyote or something, or if there's like a person crossing the tracks, something like that. They do occasionally honk their horn and it's really loud. So there's that. Have I gotten used to that sound? No. No, not at all. Number three, construction. There's construction going on 24/7 all of the time, okay? Even on a weekend morning when you think, oh my gosh, it's Saturday, I'm gonna sleep in today. No, you're not gonna sleep in today, because they start doing construction at like 7 a.m. on a Saturday. I don't know why. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what their logic is. Maybe they're behind on their construction duties. They are building a high-rise really close to me. That's, you know, the reason why I hear it so often. There's actually multiple high-rises that they're building around me, but there's one really, really close to me, and they've literally been digging that hole since like I moved here in September. I think even before that, they've already been digging that hole. So they're still digging, they're scraping. It's loud, it's annoying, and it's constant. And if I come home during the day from work or something like that, like I expect to hear construction noise. It's not quiet here. So I think my new like work schedule of working a 9 to 5 and having the weekends off actually works a little bit better in my favor, because when I film videos and stuff like that, it's usually on the weekend, like on a Sunday, where it's like actually, you know, the Q word, which I don't want to say because I don't want to jinx it, but yes, construction is constant, construction is loud, and just don't expect to sleep in ever. Okay, are we on like number 4 now? Number 4, you have to pay for parking, okay? And I'm not just talking about street parking. There is rules around street parking. You do have to move every so often. I think it's every 2 to 3 hours, depending on what zone you're parking in during the day, okay? At night, after 6 p.m. parking is free, but it's also a free-for-all, so good luck finding parking. May the odds be in your favor, but you know, there's still a few spots randomly. If you circle around the block a few times, you'll find something depending on what car you have, right? If you have a big truck or you have a big SUV, again, may the odds be in your favor, because some people are not great at parking and take up multiple parking spots. But I'm not talking about street parking per se. You do have to pay for street parking. See, there's already a siren out there, but I'm gonna leave that in the video for like added effect. Anyways, I'm talking about building parking. So if you're gonna be parking in your condo or apartment, they do charge for parking. And the parking in my building is $200 a month. And I've looked in other buildings here in downtown just to see if the price was comparable, and they're pretty consistent being $200 a month for parking, which is insane. That is insane. That is ridiculous. That is way, way, way too much, especially if you're already paying such a high premium for rent, because rent is more expensive in downtown, which I will get into that. So that is the next thing, is parking. Be expecting to pay some kind of premium to use your building's parking. Otherwise, you park on the street, you pay a little less. But again, you don't leave any valuables in your car or anything like that, because common sense, right? You're in downtown. There's a lot of crime that happens here, so choose where you park wisely and don't leave anything valuable in your vehicle. But that's common sense, I feel like. Number 5, rent is higher in downtown because obviously you're close to everything. So this is a pro and a con, right? The pro being you're close to everything, and the con being the rent is high, okay? Depending on where you go, depending on what floor you want, depending on what side of the building you're facing, those all factor into how much you're going to pay for rent. I'm obviously on a higher floor, I have a nicer view, so obviously the premium here is higher. So yes, the cost of rent fluctuates. It's higher on some floors and suites and lower in some floors and suites, depending on what you want, what your preference is, and what you're looking for. But generally rent is higher in downtown because you are closer to literally everything. You're closer to public transit, you're near trains. The train line through downtown is free. So it's free for like, I don't know how many stops, 6 stops maybe. So if you ever needed to walk to the other side of downtown, you can just take a train for free. It stops being free when you get to like Stampede Station or like higher up to like Bridgeline or something like that. But yeah, if you're staying inner city, inner part of downtown, the train line is free. So you're close to public transit. There's buses that run 24/7 here. There is restaurants galore, late night eats, whatever you want. There's a place that's open till like 4 a.m. for food if you want. There is like 24-hour gas stations down here. There's grocery stores galore. We have a lot of Safeways, which is so weird. I didn't think that Safeway would be something that's like super popular, but there is 2 Safeways here. There's also a Superstore nearby, a No Frills. Like there's literally everything within like 5 to, I want to say 12-minute drive from here. So you're close to everything. You pay the premium to live so close to everything. Okay, number 6 is that water is actually free in certain buildings, okay? So not all the buildings that I looked at had free water, but mine specifically does, which is amazing. Definitely look for things like that because you will definitely save on your water bill. That is, you know, obviously a pro. I know I went over like almost 5 cons about living in downtown, but that is a pro to get your water paid for. Number 7, your AC or anything like that can break at any point, or your heat or whatever. They do maintenance pretty frequently, and our AC just broke, I guess. Like, they had more repairs that needed to happen. So my apartment is ridiculously hot right now. So that is why I have the window open. So if you guys hear any background noise throughout this video, that is why. It's because it's insanely hot in here, okay? So that can happen at any point. You have no control over it. You have no control about when maintenance comes to fix it or anything like that. It just kind of happens. Number 8 is that the higher floor that you live on, I'm going to talk about temperature again because I'm a big temperature person. I'm always cold. I'm always cold, okay? Always, especially at work. But I've never lived on such a high floor before. Heat rises, right? So in the winter months, I barely, like, I don't turn on my heat, basically. You have really no choice. You have to keep your suite at a certain like temperature, and like the lowest setting is the lowest setting, right? But the heat from the lower levels rise up. So even in the middle of winter, when it's hot or when it's cold outside, when it's like -20, -40, whatever, your suite, if you live on a high floor, is still going to be insanely hot. So just be mindful of that. Again, picking which floor you want to live on based on all of those factors: cost of living, how comfortable you want to be, if you run hot or cold. I'm telling you, the higher floors are insanely hot, even in the middle of winter. So, and I'm such a cold person. Like, I'm always in blankets, I'm always in sweaters. I like to be comfortable and warm, but it's super hot. The higher the floor that you live on is super hot. And like I said, right now our AC is broken, so it's even hotter for me here. So that's why I have this open. Number 9, I'm gonna try to get to 10 things because I'm sure there's more than 10 things that I could put in this video, but I'm trying to get to at least 10 things. Number 9, okay, if you have friends that don't like driving, or you have friends that are just not comfortable driving in inner city, you know, where like roads are one way and stuff like that. I'm used to it because I've worked here for many years. So I'm used to the commute. I'm used to driving one-way roads. I'm used to all of that, and it doesn't scare me. But you'd be surprised about how many people are actually terrified and scared to drive in downtown because of, you know, the one-way roads and the roads being really narrow. So we have streets that are one way, right, but they're like 4 lanes, and the lanes are really narrow, and sometimes like people park on the sides and stuff like that, so it's even more narrow. So you'd be surprised at the amount of people that would prefer to Uber or like transit to me because they don't want to drive here. So just be mindful of that. Your friends are obviously going to think that your place is really cool, you have an amazing view, blah blah, but are they always going to come over and visit you? Probably not, because of the driving itself and the parking. I already mentioned the parking being a little bit difficult, and you have to pay for it and everything like that. So the driving and the parking is a lot for some people. So just keep that in mind, and keep that in mind for yourself too. Are you going to be driving around? Is the driving here going to bother you at all? When I did my driving school personally, like back when I was in high school, she did make me drive in downtown quite a bit. She actually did not take me on the highway, which I was really offended. I was like, I need to know how to drive on the highway. She's like, no, you need to learn how to drive in downtown. And I was like, but I don't though. Because at that point, I never really came to downtown for anything. I just like, I lived in the northern part of the city and I just stayed there, right? So at that point, I was really pissed at her for making me drive in downtown every single day, but it actually helped me in the future, you know, the future me. So I am super comfortable driving around here. You just have to be really cautious. So that's that. Number 10, can I think of a 10th one? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Okay, so the elevators. When you live on a higher floor, keep that in mind. So how fast do you want to go? Like, do you want to leave your house? If you're coming into an apartment by, like, you've lived in a house your whole entire life, you've never had to take an elevator, you've never had to like worry about being late or anything like that because you leave at like whatever time it is, you have to allot yourself extra time, especially if you're living on a higher floor, because elevators can take a very, very long time and they can stop on every floor. Also, there's elevator maintenance. I've already talked about the AC and stuff like that. Elevators can break at any point in time, so keep that in mind. Also, the fire alarm has gone off like I think 2 to 3 times since I've lived here for various reasons, and obviously you cannot take the elevator during that time when there's a fire alarm going on. So whatever floor you're living on, if you live on the 60th floor, I don't even know if there's buildings that go up to 60 floors here, but I'm just pulling a random number out because I don't want to obviously expose myself and tell you guys what floor I live on, but like pretend you live on the 60th floor, you have to walk down 60 flights of stairs all the way to the bottom when there's a fire alarm. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that is all. That is 10 reasons why you should or shouldn't live in downtown, 10 things that people do not tell you before you move here. I do hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it was interesting for you. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye.
I let you deeper.